a team that I think we can safely say have finally got the second place monkey off their back. You know, they had those 2 big lands where we thought, okay, they're going to do it, and then they didn't. And obviously one of those was right here in Manila at ESL 1.
They do kind of, I feel like they might just have like a kind of a target on their back. But I feel like for this series, they have to feel super confident. Like, I think we're all feeling kind of the same way. Looking at them, they're like 70-30, I'd say, if not maybe a little bit higher.
I think their greatest weapon right now is that you don't see, there aren't any glaring weaknesses in their lineup or in the way that they play this game. You see a lot of teams are very early game centric, or a lot of teams are very late game centric, with OG, for example. But Liquid, I think
we noticed that in Russia was the one of the few teams that do ban specifically for a team, whereas everyone else is banning for the meta. Right.
I think the other team would do that would be Complexity. Like, those are the teams that I remember on top of my head that always bans differently. So that's a very standard opening.
Very
Phoenix,
standard alliance.
DK.
Well, probably not.
Okay, that's.
But
that's
they do like the roaming role.
Yeah,
right?
no, I agree.
Yeah, it's like the system they're setting up. You have one roaming hero, and you have one babysitting hero. So that's what I see them doing in together in the mid lane now.
Yeah.
Earthspirit, DP, or Earthspirit plus Queen of Pain. Those are the 2 most dangerous heroes.
And both very good against Dragon Knight here.
And they leave both of them in the pool, so...
Alliance is going to take very comfort picks.
Their most picked hero in the last 3 months.
Yep, and this is, you know, as we always see, Alliance likes their push. So they have the no field, they have the Dragon Knight, they have some heal from Sunray. Just pretty much the standard from Alliance coming out.
I think they want to leave this very open and see what right now.
That's true. Tether can be annoying because it can't, like that. If you level Tether, it's 2.5 seconds where the illusions can't attack. Our Spirit has lots of AoE damage with the Death Prophet.
Yeah, and Liquid still has like 2 picks.
2 picks left
like
as well.
CK I would regard as a hero, something like
so they do.
Like Brood or Huskar. You have to make it a last pick. Again, comes back to like what you mentioned, Yanis. It depends on what Bulldog's hero is.
Yep. Or they do Bulldog Slardar and they pick an anti-mage.
Okay.
So
Alright, so very quickly as we go down the road.
Would have been a lot different had they drafted a lineup that they wanted to actually fight with, but they just like a Slardar with a super late blink and anti-mage who's forced to fight before 25. It just didn't really hit on all cylinders for them, but it was
hopeful looking start for Alliance. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And really wear away at a team's mentality.
But you have 2 players in this team who just have no ego. I mean, they're 2 of the nicest guys you could ever meet.
Oh, no. Well, we say they. When we said that they have no ego, that maybe
LGD, in fact, some question that they should have even been here.
LGD was pretty dominant in their performance. Like that whole game was the maybe show.
They're playing MVP, right?
Yes.
Yep.
And they were playing versus the phantom-assassin, which we know is not really one of the most popular heroes. He's quite...
Is that unfamiliar for you? Because you've been there before.
Yeah, 2 years ago.
So what do you say to these guys now after such a good play, but not a win, but you know, they've played really well. What do you say to them going into game 2?
I mean, keep your heads high, and I think it's more on they need to... Don't you say that Dazzle fits in most situations more than...
You could adapt him around
better than Rubik.
But Wisp is banned. EGM only has Wisp.
We talked about this before. He really only plays 2 heroes.
Oh, man. And that's... Playing Rubik versus Lifestealer is actually pretty terrifying.
And they're going to stick with the Slardar as well.
Please put Loader on Slardar.
Yeah.
I agreed.
And then let him play the... Like, it's much better for them when he plays, focus on stacking and shutting down the offlaner.
And at one point, people were like giving up Darkseer and picking the Dazzle into it just because, you know, he's so good at dealing with it and healing your carry and pushing out the wave instead of having to deal with the Ion Shell constantly.
How do you feel about these 2 cores out of Liquid, Lifestealer, Darkseer? I feel like this is a little limited.
Darkseer, you want a spell that can be used with a vacuum.
Fair enough.
They've used the Sven alongside
there's not many mid heroes that can actually do that for Liquid. It's only maybe Puck. Lifestealer, bombs, but then...
Maybe Liquid picks Windrunner?
Bulldog, he's going to be on the Nature's Prophet, something that needs to be a little bit more comfortable with. I'm going to have a quick run do now. We do just a random Kuroky. Why not? I wish we had Kuroky Cam half the time. He's a beautiful man.
They try to force the issue a little bit too much with the anti-mage in this game. They felt very comfortable and just farming, getting Bulldog nice and farmed, and getting all those auras.
Queen at the top level.
I think it's an interesting strategy. Do you think Liquid would do
how is
it?
that possible? Like,
do you think they would ban both?
I mean, you asked me how that's possible, but how is it possible that Shiki couldn't play Lesh at TI5?
Okay,
things happen.
I'm sold.
So
okay,
there we go.
Yep.
All right,
So
there you go.
Yep.
Good call, Charlie.
I like that Death Prophet ban as well. That hero's been...
I like the fact
100%.
that they've gotten rid of...
Intensive, but you still can help your team a lot with the Omni-slash rotations.
You have spells that enable you to fight early game with the spin.
The plan just didn't come into place there for Alliance.
And it begs the question, should Admiral Bulldog be on a tempo controller? Not that he's that bad of a bat rider, it's just the team doesn't seem to play that well around it. And Loda gets his farm, but they've lost all map control by the time he...
Just like individual players, it's very much about chemistry. It's very much about leadership and what can you build together, not just like the individual pieces and who's good, superstars like that. We've seen so many superstar teams fail, and what's really succeeded is...
Is that the sign of a very confident team, or is it just a sign of how deep their hero pool is?
I think both, though. They are confident and they have a lot of strategies that work. They have a lot of guns, unlike Alliance, which have only 1 or 2. For a team to go far, you need to have a lot of weapons. Because one primary...
you mean you're firing the shots? Yeah, I was going to take the shots at you guys.
I think there's been a bit of back and forth. I mean, I think the only thing I can say in terms of shots is very worried in game 1, let alone after game 2. You're kind of like, oh no, what's going on here? Yeah, it's just a bit of fun. I do want to also talk to all three
of the Fnatic or prior to the Shanghai Major that consistently shows up to lands and then they disappoint. They don't do well. Mushi's constantly changing roles, and it's just not impressive. And that's what people think of when they think of Fnatic.
Yeah. For sure, but I think Liquid will recognize that and ban it out. I do hope they ban the Dazzle though.
Yeah, agree.
Yeah, I think Dazzle is the only support right now that can stabilize the lane for Lycan.
That's if Fnatic goes something aggressive with the Darkseer.
Yeah.
Well, Liquid get tested a bit there. I think they should be pretty happy with how that game went and the win, other than that one big team wipe at bottom lane. But I think even if they go back and look at the replay, they're going to be like, whoa, Ohio just made a really sick vacuum.
Yeah.
But Fnatic just kind of fell too far behind. Way too many pickoffs on the ember-spirit. And that's where Liquid really shined, is just finding those pickoffs, punishing Fnatic.
He somehow brought it back. And Ohio this time, I think, was my MVP for the ravages that he hit, for
Interesting game number 3. Liquid get truly tested, and we see both teams just kind of going with some unconventional lanes. The picks themselves, I don't think anything too crazy outside of the Leshrac on Fata, which we haven't. They don't feel like, looking at them there, that they're too beat down. They know that they're versing the favorite to win this tournament. They took them to 3 games. They had 3 close games. So I think Fnatic just got to look ahead to their lower bracket match.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, they're not out of this yet. They're not going to the lower bracket.